Oops, I clicked.
Hey, time.
Oh, I was waiting until Joe got up and left.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give Joe full screen there so everybody can just look at an empty chair. What the heck is Joe doing here?
I don't want to sync back up. I don't want to do anything.
Hey guys, take note. Take note. I think you could see something through the corner of his blinds right there. I think it looks like a tree.
That's a fake window.
It's a fake window.
He's getting real mad. He's yelling.
Look at the shadows, guys. Look at the shadows. They're going to be
everybody take note because everybody listening will probably get called to court for Joe's domestic dispute.
Let's see if it works this time.
Yeah, let's see if it works this time, Joe. Yeah.
Oh my God! Sync backup. Putting my password. It keeps on prompting me for my sync. I don't want to sync it. I don't want to sync. I don't want to encrypt my backup. I don't want to do anything. Stop freezing my shit.
Wait, you're backup dancer for InSync?
Can someone text Joe and tell him that we can't hear him? Like, does he read sign language? Like, I don't. Someone needs to let Joe know we can't hear him.
Remember that gorilla that could read?
Let him know in the private chat.
I'm pretty sure you can hear him.
Like, there's a gorilla that can do it, but Joe can't.
One of these days, you know that Joe, like when he truly does go ape crap and start killing people, it's going to be us, like because we harass him so much.
I actually think we would be the only people that Joe wouldn't kill.
Actually, probably.
I don't know, man. I dig at Joe pretty deep sometimes.
That's a good mystery for you guys.
Yeah. No, I think Joe's more like hitchhiker sort of killer, maybe back page hooker sort of killer, maybe. You know, he's probably got a freezer full of body parts.
Yeah, Joe's definitely a strange one. My wife looks a serial killer.
He looks like he's been taking some trend, maybe some test or something. He's bulking up there a little bit.
Like I don't even know what you're talking about right now, Bill.
Some steroids. I bet he can roid out. I bet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, only Herman Lloyd's taking the HGH.
Wow, look at Joe throwing crap at Herman Lloyd. Man.
What's up, Big Clive? Hey, just so everybody knows, if you're not already subscribed to Big Clive's channel, go subscribe to him. Both of them, bigclivelive.com and the other one, which is I forget the name. Big Clive.
He's approaching 1 million.
He's pretty damn close to 1 million, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
So everybody that's not already subscribed, go subscribe from right now. Do it.
Yeah.
You won't regret it. Honestly, it's a great time.
So
he's a great
today,
speaking of Big Clive, we have a guest on tonight.
His arch nemesis.
Yep. They duked it out. What was that? A year ago or so?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
That's good talk.
Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
I missed that show actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I did.
I mean, it was pretty good. Maybe that's why. I'm not saying
I've missed a lot of the good ones actually.
No,
I'm not a very good like co-host because I kind of just do my own thing.
Yeah,
right.
You know, that's true.
How you doing, John? You're in a hotel somewhere in an undisclosed location.
I am on my way to Florida, to Claremont, for the HVACR Symposium, and I am in a little tiny town in Comanche, Texas. And I'm in a hotel.
Did you take a wrong turn somewhere?
The doors. Well, I'm coming from New Mexico, so that's where I live. So yeah, but yeah, it's all good. Doors locked. Got my alarm on the truck set. It's right outside the window here, so we're good.
Nice.
I'm bummed out. I'm not going to the symposium this year, but we did have a good time last year. Last year was a damn good time actually. So
yeah, last year was really cool. I am also kind of bummed I'm not going to be there this year, but it's a busy year for me this year, so I can't make it.
Yeah.
How many years have you been to the symposium, John?
This will be my 3rd year, and this will be my 3rd year speaking. Brian Orr invited me back to speak, and so I was very humbled by that, and I took him up on the offer. And
hey, you guys remember that one time Brian Orr invited us to the symposium? That was neat, huh?
I got to meet you guys for the first time in person last year, so it was kind of cool.
Heck
so
yeah.
we got uninvited to the symposium because we had the pleasure of having Brian on a live stream with us, and then I brought to his attention on the live stream
awesome, by the way,
that the porta potty was overflowing, and he thought I was joking. But then the next day he goes, "You were serious?" And I go, "Yeah, I told you. Like, I got some splashback from the porta potty."
Yeah, I told you live on the show. Like,
that's pretty funny though.
That's the best time for that news. So, hey, real quick, guys, before I forget, tonight, you guys in the chat, don't let me forget. I got 2 TrueTech gift cards to give away.
That's
tonight
amazing,
to
Bill.
somebody in the chat. I'm just going to be picking random people. So as I see you guys chat, I might write down, like, if you have the best comment, I might write your name down and then give it to you at the end of the show. So pay attention. It's going to be at the end of the show. Don't let me forget. All right.
Good man.
You know
Jesus
that, like,
fish, don't let me forget. All right.
When I gave those gift cards away to everybody, I seriously gave everybody a gift card to keep for themselves, and just about everybody has given them both away, which I'm fine with. But I genuinely, the whole point was, I asked all these creators, I said, do you guys want to be part of my giveaway? And I didn't tell them they were getting a gift card for themselves. I just said I was going to give them one $400 gift card to give away. And then the whatever surprise was that when I made the video, I said the creators all got to keep one too. Yeah. And then just about everybody. Now I wanted everybody to keep them for themselves, but yeah, a lot of people giving them away.
Paying it forward, man. It's good karma.
Yeah, it really is.
That's cool.
I need some good karma in the air.
So back to the splashback at the symposium. The porta potties were right next to Haven's booth, the indoor air quality monitor.
Yeah.
And I went over there and we were kind of BSing with the guys. I couldn't stand there anymore. I'm like, it smelled.
Wow.
It was hot, festering porta potties in the sun over there. And it was right next to the air quality booth. And I just thought that was
they deserved it.
Yeah, the irony in that, eh?
They probably had to recalibrate every unit they had.
Yeah.
But you know
like,
what?
wow,
like,
your Haven stuff doesn't work that well. It smells like shit over here.
For real though, like, I've been to the symposium 2 times. I've been a speaker I've been a speaker 3 times, but one of them was virtual. But I've been twice actually in person, and it is such a great event. It really is an awesome event because it's so many like-minded people. And we said this last year. The classes are amazing, but the underdog there, the thing that, you know, for a while people weren't talking about was the conversations in between the classes. There'd be a conversation between 2 people. Next thing you know, there's 6 people, and they're all just sharing and those conversations are awesome.
Yeah.
What just amazes me is Brian Orr's vision. This is as organic and grassroots as you can get. And everybody really wants to be there. And the camaraderie, and it's just amazing. Just to have that vision and then pull it off like he had. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if next year he just outgrows that spot and like has to go big with a conference hall. And
I think it's inevitable that's going to have to happen. You know, the convenience of being able to have it at your own location where, you know, the labor is your employees, so it's easy and stuff, you know, but Brian's a smart guy, and I also think the same. I think this thing is going to grow.
I think he's at the point where I'm pretty sure he could right now. The tickets sold out a while back, didn't they?
Yeah.
So like he's limiting them to X amount of tickets, and that's it, period.
So, I literally had someone who heard that I had bought a ticket reach out to me because he's like, dude, they're sold out. Can I buy your ticket? And I was like, because he knew I wasn't going, and it was
like,
cool.
Yeah, I'll give you double face value.
Double price. Yeah.
I
reached out to Brian. I reached out to Brian and his secretary, and I just gave the guy the ticket, so they changed it over to his name. But
I wonder if there's like a space nearby his business now that he could just rent out for the event, like some big stadium or something, or
the Claremont Convention Center.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably perfect.
So what do you Chris Hughes was asking, what's your class on this year?
Hey Chris, what's going on? Well, you know what? I am changing it up this year. You know, the last 2 years I spoke heavily on indoor air quality. And so, but this year I am actually going to be talking about maintenance agreements and how to make them profitable. Because our industry right now is running a lose-lose proposition just the way we format maintenance agreements. So we're going to take that dive into what it takes to run a profitable maintenance agreement. And what I mean by this is, like, if you look at departmental wise for an HVAC company, you've got a service department that better darn well be profitable. You've got an install department that's profitable. You've got a sales department that's profitable, and then you've got you got the ugly duck in the room, which is your maintenance department that typically runs at a loss. That's just hemorrhaging money. So we're going to talk about how to turn that around, make it profitable. I got a company out in Minnesota, and the maintenance department is catching up to the service department in revenue. Wow. And that's the way it should be. Yeah. So a little different, but yeah. So I'm gonna go after it.
That's nice. Cool. That's definitely something that it, you know, for especially the residential companies, you know, that, like you said, it's always been a loss leader, the maintenance side. So, you know, they got to start making it profitable. I think that's really important because, you know, they're letting money go. Essentially, well, you know, you got to make money.
I mean, there's a lot of people talking about everyone's leaving money at the table on maintenance agreements and performing maintenance in general, you know,
even on the commercial side, we do a little bit too. So,
I know Jim Bergman and Measure Quick, that's the whole thing. That's one of the big things that they're pushing is like, if you're thorough in your job and you look at everything, there's money to be made, period. You know what I mean? I don't know how what you're talking, you know, and what your classes all involve, structuring the maintenance agreements, how to charge for them. But like, if you do your job well, you're going to make money, right?
I think it's, you know, it's got to be difficult though, especially when you have so many new companies starting daily. It seems like so it's a race to the bottom essentially because everybody's trying to not bid, because bid's not the right word, but they're all trying to make themselves known. So, you know, people ask me all the time, like, you know, what's some financial advice? And I was like, price yourself right and learn about the business before you start your business. You know, don't just go in there and being the cheapest guy out there. So, you know, when it comes to doing maintenance agreements and different things like that, you know, I know a little bit about the residential side, but I mean, when it comes to that stuff, you got to make money, and it's got to be more of an industry standard that we charge. We stop giving free estimates. We start doing things. I know that's a scary thing for a lot of companies to hear that word, stop doing free estimates, but
yeah, all really, we got to do is say heat exchanger is bad. You have R22. That's illegal. You need a new system. Boom.
That's pretty much every residential sales company that
my commission goes up.
Sales company is going to
throw in some purple lights.
Yeah,
well, and I made like 10 here's grand. Something to think about. We got CO2 breathing down our neck right now, and I don't know how much it's going to affect you guys in the commercial aspect of things, but on the residential things, there's some marketplaces that are going to be okay because they're going to grandfather in for a while. But so we got all these all the manufacturers rolling out their CO2 stuff. There's going to be a big shift in inventory, so those companies that can't sell their inventory are going to move them to the areas that can sell out through the rest of 2023 and bring new inventory in. So that's a big shuffle. And with transportation issues and everything that we're experiencing now, having a technician that can genuinely diagnose and fix something is going to be worth the weight in gold, because there's going to be equipment shortages because of you know, transportation and everything. And so a technician that can go in, properly diagnose, tear a piece of equipment apart and fix it. You know, what's funny, how many technicians do you know right now that can take a circuit board out of a piece of equipment and then put all the components back in and make it run like we used to do back in, you know, 20 years ago
when stuff would break? I can't tell you. I mean, that's how I cut my teeth learning on the commercial side. Was we have a Train Voyager package unit and the circuit board died, and we have to make it work. So we have a crap ton of contactors, relays, all this different stuff. And that's how I learned, was like, okay, let's make it work, you know, start doing things. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that don't have the slightest idea.
Oh, go ahead.
My brother-in-law just contacted me. He lives in North Carolina, and he goes, hey, we had our residential company out, and they found what they called biological growth in their supply plenum. But the sales tech that was doing the maintenance, right, whatever, but the salesperson that was there, you know, it made me laugh because they sent me the quote and they said, does this seem right? And I go, they sent me a picture and I go, that could be biological growth. I don't know. But I said, just from the wording in his description, when he called it a supply intake, and I go, what is a supply intake? Like, what? So he found biological growth in the supply intake. And it's like, yeah, you need to find someone else who actually knows what they're doing to come out there. So, you know, I'm calling around finding people for him, but there's a lot of that out there. And, you know, I get up here sometimes and kind of rant about how I don't like sales, but I also understand that sales are a part of this trade, but they need to be ethical sales. They need to be sales that have merit to them. Okay. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with giving the customer value. There's nothing wrong with showing them what needs to be done and giving them options too. Hey, this is what's broken. I can fix it. Or, you can invest a couple bucks more. We can replace your system and it can be much more efficient. Okay. But the unethical sales, that stuff's getting difficult right now because there's a lot of it. And there's a lot of unethical sales trainers out there right now too.
I think
that are
Brian Orr must have heard me talking about him. He's in the chat tonight, guys.
Oh wow.
Backsplash.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, Brian.
How you doing?
Keep your swears to a minimum, you guys.
Okay.
So speaking of sales and that, John, I know you're part of, you work for the new flat rate, right?
Yes. So I am I'm a business coach and field service trainer for the new flat rate. And so what I do is I go out to companies that are using our program. We get in their books. We look at their dailies and their weeklies and per truck, per technician, see who's performing properly, see who's profitable, who isn't. And then I put on a uniform and I jump in the truck and go run service calls and make sure that they're using the process properly. And so not to make this whole show about the new flat rate, but let's just break it down a little bit. So let's just say that let's use an outdoor capacitor. That's just a simple repair. And let's say, you sell that for $250. Okay, that's decent. We call that the cheeseburger. And so you're going to sell a cheeseburger today, tomorrow, next week, a week from now, a month, a year from now. You're going to sell a cheeseburger. But if you don't have filet mignon on your menu, how many are you going to sell?
Yeah.
How many are you going to sell? None. You're going to sell cheeseburgers for the rest of your life. So what we've done is we are not a pricing company. We are a software and process development company. Now, love us or hate us, it doesn't matter because I know the system works all over the United States in every marketplace, big companies, small companies, little towns, big towns, it doesn't matter. So we take what your cheeseburger is that you're already selling it, and that's where we start. So if you use our process and you go out and all they do is choose a bottom option, well, guess what? You still sold the cheeseburger that you sold anyway, but we're showing at least 50% of your existing clients or new clients will choose an option higher than a cheeseburger if you just let them. So check this out. Millions of dollars exchange hands every day in the restaurant industry, right? What do?
Yeah.
They set you down,
sell cheeseburgers,
and they hand you a menu, and they say, "What would you like?" Right? Our industry has been a take it or leave it proposition for too many years, where you back the client right into the corner and say, "Hey, it's $250. Take it or leave it. You want me to do it or not?"
Are you saying like you don't need all these tricky sales techniques to actually run a business?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, we are process driven. We are scripted. Now, here's where I lose everybody, and everybody gets a little pissed off. It's like we use verbal packaging. So in today's marketplace, everybody is on Amazon or Google or YouTube. There's so many YouTube technicians out there. It's crazy. So we've taken the part names kind of out of the equation. So we say what it does and the system it works in. So for instance, a magnetic contactor is a voltage distribution system. What does it do? It handles voltage and distributes it where it needs to go. And you know what? If the client really presses us and wants us to know, we'll say it's a magnetic contactor. But that keeps them off the Google and finding the part and say, "Oh, well, this is an $11 part. What do you mean you're going to charge me $250? So that's our methodology. It's based on honesty, integrity, and common sense. If the customer really wants to know, we'll tell them.
So my wife has really been encouraging me to eat a little bit healthier. So like, do you have plant-based options? Can we do like a vegan burger?
Yes. Yeah. And when you get them, they come with a little unicorn and a rainbow little thing on it.
Right. I do not eat vegan burgers. Okay.
I have gas-powered contactors that I can get.
That's the simple explanation on how it works.
The coolest part, I think, the one part that I liked about it is it's like absolutely no pressure, right? There's no pressure whatsoever because you give them the menu. And what's your famous line, John, when you hand them the iPad?
What should we do?
Options.
What should we do?
That's
you
it.
Don't
And,
like
then
it,
and then shut the hell up.
Yeah, just let them pick what they want, and that's it.
Now, when you call a contactor an electronic, or what'd you call it again? Electrical distribution device?
Voltage distribution.
I mean, playing devil's advocate, I would kind of look at like, wow, you're really taking that and like making it sound over the top. Like it's a switch, open and close the switch. Like, could somebody, I mean, just say like, you're just kind of overcomplicating that, so I buy this at a higher price.
Like I said, if they really want to know what it is, we'll say what it is. You know, we call a draft inducer an exhaust removal system. You know, and if you're talking to a homeowner, you know, it all sounds Japanese anyway when you start getting real technical on them. So here's what it is, and we got 5 options because human nature wants to toss out the top, toss out the bottom, and so that's still, if you're doing good, better, best, that still leaves you right in the middle, right in the middle.
Hey, now it's a family show, John.
Yeah, this is a family show. You know, we do like above.
It's an explanation. It leaves you right in the middle.
We're played in elementary schools all across the nation.
You didn't tell us you were going to go blue, okay? Come on.
If you've got 5 options, you throw out the top, throw out the bottom. There's still 3 options to choose from.
Right. So. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm torn because I don't know that I like the creative names, but to be fair, I understand that in today's market, again, what I said earlier, you have 50 billion other service companies out there, and you have the Google, and, you know, homeowners think that they, you know, just because they find a capacitor on Google for $12, they think that that's what it should cost to put in. They don't understand that you have overhead. They don't understand that you have to make a profit. So, but I still don't know if I agree with the $800 capacitor replacements, but I take the actual price out of it. I understand why you have to do some of that stuff. I understand the logic behind it. So.
You know, I hear that all the time. So if my cheeseburger is $250 and I've got 5 options, and my filet mignon comes in at $1,200 or $1,300, John, how can you sleep at night and sell a capacitor for $1,200 or $1,300? It's like, dude, I'm not. I am selling a platinum service that includes a capacitor.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we do, and you always do more. You never do less. We do wire termination. So all the stake-ons come off, shielded go on. If there's a little pit in the contactor, we'll go ahead and change that out. We clean the evaporator coil. You know, we'll take it all apart. You do a platinum service that includes a capacitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. It's still kind of just I'm not in love with it. But again, using your food analogy, you know, right now, one of the biggest hit things out in a lot of the restaurants, especially here in Southern California, is everybody says they have Wagyu, but they don't. They have fake Wagyu. It tastes good, but it's not the same. So, you know, I don't know.
So you got the one technician with a lazy guy who can't stop drooling. He's out there giving platinum services, but not really platinum services. Is that what you're getting at, Chris?
Like, what kind of a platinum service? Is this like the platinum service you get on the Strip in Vegas? Like, what are you talking about, Bill?
No, what John's talking about is where you actually do a good job, where you make sure all your connections are tight. Yeah. You actually clean the evaporator, or, you know, Jimmy with the lazy eye who can't stop drooling. I mean, like, he's not doing that platinum service.
It is a really good point, though, because here's the thing. When, like, me personally, I don't have a lot of time to work on my house. We were talking about that a little bit earlier with I don't know if I was talking to Dustin earlier. I was working at my house today, my HVAC new setup. I'm moving forward with it a little bit, right? But like, if I have somebody come over to my house, I don't want to deal with bullshit again, period. If I'm having you come to my house, I don't want you coming back another time. So like, if there's something else that needs to get done, I want to pay to do it. And if there's 3 things that need to get done, I want to pay to do it. And like, if somebody offers me to fix everything in one shot, I will 100%.
Anytime anything starts going down the path of like, I feel like we're getting to an upsell conversation, I'm out. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't do it at the oil change place. I don't do it at home. Like, dude, this is what I need done. Like, I get it to a point, but like, you know, I have a certain limit of where I'm like, yeah, dude, you're just, I don't
tolerate bullshit, and I can't do upsells either. I walk into a car dealership and I say, I want this car. This is what I want to pay. Can you do it? And they say, well, and I said, thanks. Yeah.
That's the different. That's one of the things that I like about the new flat rate. Like that, the whole thing, like changing the names, it is a little funny, and I think a lot of people do feel that way. But like,
what's up, Laska?
You're giving them no pressure. There's absolutely zero pressure.
That's true.
You're handing it to them. You decide what you want to do, and you tell me. You know what I mean? It's
options. Yeah.
It's also, coming from the commercial side, everything is so different that sometimes I have to remember before I open my mouth and say, that's wrong. It's like, but there's a different business model. It's different. It is.
Commercials a lot different. A lot of times the decision maker's not even there.
No.
You can talk to the restaurant manager, and they may have a little authority to make a decision, but more times than not, the decision maker's not there. So we're comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Hey, when's the last time you've been to a car wash?
Oh, it's been a long time, but
yeah. Well, you go to a car wash, and what do they got? A menu. Anybody ever run out and say, "Hey, dude, don't choose that one"?
Oh no, not for me.
Upsell.
You try to take your work van through one of those with the menu.
Right.
You won't go very far. So I still have to use the old manual ones.
And by all rights, when you go to a car wash and there's a menu and there's 3 or 4 different options, you really notice your car's cleaner when you pick the top option.
No, but me, when I did, it's been a long time, but I always pick the top option. And just give me the $20 one. Just give me the 20. I don't know if they're still $20, but it was always give me the 20.
Because normally you just get blue soap. You get a blue soap normally, but if you pick 20, you get blue, yellow,
maybe.
But what I started to notice?
And they do the disco light.
That it's just light.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just lights.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's all just psychology. They're just like, $20, you get 17 different lights. That's it.
What we don't know is if you look at a car wash system, what they actually do is they capture all the water that comes off. They run it through a filter, then they respray the next car with that same water, and then just add that different colored lights and make you think you're getting a value.
But maybe it's just the point of perspective for me. Like, I don't really have anything that I do where people really have a chance to, or where I would experience flat rate, for example. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is like getting an oil change. That's it. Like, I don't really go to the car wash ever. I don't go to get my hair cut. I don't do anything to myself that would require some sort of flat rate or upselling or anything. Like, so my only perspective is from my oil change. But I did have a business way back in the day, a Mr. Appliance franchise that I ran, and we dabbled in like flat rate pricing. But I mean, I couldn't really base my opinion off that. I went out of business in a year because it just wasn't working out for me. But I mean, I did have a giant book like that thick of the various things that we can charge for. And like if I'm doing a dryer, we can also tack on like we'll do the vent cleaning, we'll check your belt. It's almost like a similar sort of thing, like a platinum package. Like, we'll go through the whole thing while I'm here.
Yeah. And I alluded to this earlier, even on the commercial side, we kind of use routine maintenance. Like, we don't necessarily charge 100% in the kind of stuff that I do. There's some customers that they just give me a not to exceed value of like $1,500, and then as long as you're under that, you're good to go. And we don't always max that out. So we do things differently. So we'll go in there, and if we only have $800 worth of work, we just charge them $800. But there is some things like there's other customers that, we just have a $450 or $600 maintenance charge, and we're not necessarily making all of our money back on that. So we do it a little bit in the commercial side too. The whole idea is that we do that maintenance every month. And while we're there, we ethically find a crap ton of stuff that's broken that we then get to come back on. So the residential side using that, that way, I just think like even on the commercial and the residential side, I would love to see no more losses. Like, you just go in and you charge for what you do, whether it be flat rate or hourly, either way. But I just want to see people actually charging for the value they're providing.
I would say, like, I think like and by the way, John, at some point during the show, we'll give you a chance to talk. Don't worry. We just brought you on to talk over you,
I'm taking it.
But
Ding.
real quick, I would like to say, like, I do believe that there's a difference between like your flat rate system versus like the stereotypical sales technicians who go in there and just are just pushing boxes and purple lights and everything they can push. Like, I do think that there is a distinctive difference between the two.
Yeah.
So all right, we were talking about options, right? I think I'd like to, if possible, can we segue?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
So talking about options, John, you said we are allowed to ask you about, you have a very special super secret project that you're working on, indoor air quality.
Yeah.
You tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me send you over a disclosure and a non-compete, and
There we go.
I'm hoping this is like the world premiere of your
Does it come with a t-shirt?
Overtime always gets them, eh?
Yeah.
it should, or at least a hat,
Yeah, give me a hat. I want a hat now. Dust press,
dust free.
dust free.
Dust free.
We
Nice.
have a lot of really cool people in the chat right now too.
Yeah, awesome.
I've it's no
Calm down,
secret.
Joe. Calm down.
My passion is indoor air quality, and not just gadgets. I'm in the deep dive in the real science with building science, forensics, and indoor air quality as it should be, helping clients with solutions that really need our help. So in doing that, I spent the whole last year working with an OEM and working with engineers on product development. And so we have some prototypes, and we've taken it to the lab, and we've got our official ASHRAE 52.2 MERV 16 credentials. So that's official. The next thing is to go to Minnesota, and and get our lab work done. All the modeling now, I don't know how many guys you get to really like hang out with engineers, but man, they got some cool stuff. Their modeling software is unbelievable. All the modeling and all the preliminary testing is just fantastic. So we need to get them into the lab and get our official ratings on that. As of right now, we're looking at a 0.15 static drop. We're looking at a 3-year filter life. We're looking at our spot removal, our dust spot removal is second to none. Our loading factor is going to, like I said, 3 years, but with the surface area we have, it's going to how can I explain this? As a filter loads, you get certain areas that load quite quicker than others. With the way that we're doing our pleats, the loading is going to be dispersed throughout the whole filter. So at the end of the filter life, we will obviously take a hit on our curve for static resistance, but we will never filter any less. And we're shooting for a 98-99% filtration.
What kind of airflow are you moving through those filters, though? Is there going to be different sizes for each airflow?
Right now, we're doing 2 basic sizes, up to 3 tons, and then a 4 and 5 ton. We're running them at 350 feet per minute, and then 492 feet per minute is going to be our test, and then we're going to test everything in between.
Okay.
I'm going to cough. Hold on.
Wow, he's actually professional, and he muted his mic when he coughed.
Yeah, and he didn't go vertical, or his screen didn't freeze.
Dude, do you want to be part of the show for real?
Holy
like, you're like the
shitballs.
most professional person here.
Yep. So one thing we're going to do different with the SEER 2 that's coming fast and furious, we are actually going to create a filter to go to the most common air handler sizes, which is 20 by 20 and I think 20 by 24 or something like that. So we're really going to keep our eye on that because, you know, that's the push right now to electrify everything. So air handlers are a little different, heat pump air handlers. So we're going to.
Is it called an electrostatic precipitator? Big Clive posted that. I don't really know what that is, but
he's saying it's
no. We're using mechanical filtration with all five filtration type of sciences that it involves. So that would be impingement, diffusion, electrostatic attraction, and of course I'm going to forget the other 2. And so we're using all 5. Most filtration systems only use 2 or 3, but we're going all in. And so we're using nanofiber technology on our filter media, and we're just getting back to basics. Good old mechanical filtration. And then we got a couple other things happening too. The company I'm working with already has a bypass HEPA, but we're in the talks right now of doing a bypass carbon and HEPA combination. And this is truly activated carbon. and a lot of weight, not a charcoal impregnated filter. I'm talking about a lot of weight, like 5 pounds worth of carbon. That's truly activated for, benzene, dialene, formaldehyde, some isopropyls, and things like that. And we're just excited about it. So I'm hoping. So one, having working with engineers is one thing, but to work with a major manufacturer, their manufacturing facility is like crazy. They've got robots. It's like Terminator. They got robots that grab full sheets of metal and spin them around and stick them in and cut them and flip them and fold them up. And they've got a plasma machine that has a rack that stands a good 20 feet tall with 10 by 5 sheets of all different thicknesses, gauges, and all different powder coatings. And this machine just goes up, pulls the rack, drops it down, slides it into the plasma machine, and it just like sparks are flying. And in like 4 minutes, it's done, and the slides out, and it goes and grabs. It's crazy. So just to come up with a filter and a concept, but to get it into full-blown manufacturing, that's something I've not been involved with, and I'm just blown away. And so we're looking at blue anodized extruded aluminum corners and Teflon corners to hold it together, and then powder coated sheet metal, and it's looking beautiful. It's gonna be nice.
Do you have an expected release date on this?
We do not. Again, the lab is next, so we should be headed to Minnesota any time now in the next month.
And now, Minnesota, is it going to the Energy Conservatory?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going into the wind tunnels. And then
have you tested it with like humidifiers, purple lights, ionizers, any sort of issues, like it starts sparking, electrifies the entire ductwork system? Or
there is no electricity. This is mechanical filtration at its best. Good old back to basics, good old fashioned mechanical filtration using all like 5 principles. Right.
Yeah.
Is there a name for it where everyone could find it if they look for it, 6 months, a year from now?
That's funny. You get ready to have a child and you start looking at all kinds of names and everything. And we've been knocking around some ideas. We haven't nailed down a name yet. And as soon as I have a name for it,
they should do like an online
contest. I tell you what, in the chat right now, go ahead and tell us what you think the name for this should be.
Now, if you have if you got 5 pounds of carbon in there, like, and you also had like, let's say, and again, I'm not an indoor air quality person myself, so I'm just going to throw out random things here in a second. But if you have like purple lights and ozone generators and all these things already in your system, wouldn't that 5 pounds of carbon in that filter like just negate all of that?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have any of that stuff in any of my systems. I'll cut the cords off of them, throw them away.
So like the stuff I sold them last year, I got to go take it out now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, here you go.
So this is not about all that. This is about creating good old-fashioned filtration at its best, with a 3-year lifespan at very low static drop. Yeah,
I think this might be your winner, John. The fart air processor. That just wins the internet tonight, because that's going to go really well with
nice Randall
housewives.
Yeah, he's very immature. He's one of the more immature people in the chat, by the way.
No, he's not. He's a good man.
Hey, how about like you can call it like the only filter that's working overtime?
No,
it'd be a catchphrase.
That's pretty dumb, actually.
We get 5 cents per.
One of the slogans is "Breathe the difference." So that's one of the slogans of the company.
I like mine
from
better.
Dust free. Yeah, we're working overtime.
There you go. Yeah, see, it just rolls off the tongue.
So we're excited about it, and again, to take from concept to development, and then having a prototype, and then figuring out how to go into full-blown production. So we're going to do it a little different than some of our competitors, where you have to buy in, and then they ship them to you if you can get them. We're actually going 2-point distribution, so it's going to go from the manufacturer right to the shelf. You guys can go get them right off the shelf. And we're looking at some of the main channels that we have. We're Dust Free is already creates most of the Clean Comfort brand.
Uh-oh.
He must be using Joe's computer.
He must. I think
internet crapped out.
He's holding down the cough
I'm
button.
moving, flat rate.
So,
I'm moving.
I'm sure. There he goes.
Oh,
There you go.
there
Your
it
internet
is.
died for a minute.
Oh, was I not supposed to say names?
Well, you didn't say anything. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
you
just
did.
froze. So
Yeah.
whatever you said, you didn't say. So
Yeah,
Sorry
he's
about that.
stroking out or something.
He flat.
Well, I
lined.
didn't get any.
That was good. That was good.
no,
So you're
Okay,
talking
so
about
anyway.
Clean Comfort. They make Clean Comfort air.
They do a lot of stuff for Clean Comfort. But anyway, so we're
You guys
going
go.
2-point distribution, which is going to be totally different than our competitors. And so we're going to get them on supply shelf, and you guys can go pick them up. And that's
Now,
that's
can
gonna be the
consumers,
biggest
like
thing.
customers, buy them themselves, or is it still like
Nope. Contractor.
Okay. only?
contractors?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So we're excited.
that's cool.
Somebody was asking, since we have the guest that could answer this pretty good, is somebody was asking, does he have to worry about rusted ductwork?
As in context, what do you mean?
I don't know. I
Not
guess
with
for
this, I don't
air
think.
quality, I'm assuming.
Rusted
it-
ductwork? Oh, so
it-
the person saying they're curious if rusted ductwork is
Yeah,
a
if they have to
problem.
worry. Maybe airborne, rust
I
particles.
guess if you
I'm
live in
sure
a
there's stuff
submarine.
that's not good.
Well, if you got rusted ductwork, we got bigger problems than a
Yeah,
filter.
you got moisture
True.
problems there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
You know, actually, since you're
It's
here,
good
John,
yeah.
I was going to ask you a very specific question. So I have a newer house that was just built less than a year ago, right? And it's, I don't know, it's not really like there's not a whole lot of issues going on with it yet as it's sort of settling and drying out. But the
everything.
builder highly recommends that I install a whole home humidifier. And he said that will prevent things like drywall screws popping out, floorboards squeaking and moving, different things as the house settles. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't find anything really online that really backs this up with anything science-y sort of. What is your take on something like that? Do you have any input?
Where's your humidity right now?
It's been about, even in the wintertime right now, I'm about 35%. It dropped down to about 10% when we had a super Arctic chill come in for about a week and a half.
Where do you live?
Michigan, southern Michigan. Summertime,
35%. That's your sweet spot for that area. Any more than that, you're going to start sweating windows and stuff. So again, I talk a lot about different applications. So first of all, the why never changes, only the how. And when I work out in Port Huron, Michigan, and a couple other places in Michigan, and I see some pretty sweet setups. They got a humidifier for the winter set at about 35%. They got a dehumidifier set for the summer at about 50%. And then they've all got fresh air intakes because in the wintertime, you got stuff shut up tight as a drum. And I have
sorry not to cut you off, but I have a fresh air intake as well. And in the summertime, my humidity gets above 60. I mean, it can get muggy up around here. So I do have a dehumidifier.
Perfect.
But the whole humidifier thing, like my biggest thing was, I don't think it's going to do what he thinks what the builder essentially is telling me. And again, he's built more houses than me, but I was like, I just don't think it's going to do what you think it's going to do.
I don't think of that means what you think of that means.
Exactly.
I think I think it's a stretch on what he thinks it's going to do. And I don't know if he's trying to help, I don't know, sugarcoat some poor craftsmanship. You got squeaky floors.
Sounds like a
all right.
cop-out.
That's what liquid nails is for. You put liquid nails down and then you put your sheeting down. But anyway, yeah, I think
isn't that exactly what you said, Adam?
That's what I said. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know about a humidifier fixing that, but
yeah,
I really don't want to install one, for one, because it sucks, and two, if I don't have to, I'm one of these guys, like if I don't need it, I don't want to do it. Like,
I mean, the thing is, you shouldn't drop down to 10%, right? I mean, that's too low.
Tell me about it, dude.
Way too low.
Don't say
That's
that,
the
Ty.
story of my life. Freaking
That's low.
10% humidity, dude.
but what is that, like one or 2 days on an extreme winter that we had this year when that Arctic
it
blast
was
came
about a
in?
week.
Yeah.
It was
That's
about a
like
week.
every summer
Yeah.
for me.
So you know what you do? You put a tea kettle on the stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it
Actually
puts the
would help.
lotion on the skin.
Yep, that's right.
And you're all set.
That takes some time, though. You know, the one morning I woke up. So there's times where I wake up super early in the morning. I woke up and maybe a month or so back, maybe it was longer than that, I got an itch for I had a Train Clean Effects air cleaner, and I hate those air cleaners.
Somebody in chat was asking that. How do we find? I think somebody answered. How do we find about those Train Clean Effects?
I hate them, dude. I threw mine in the gut. Like, here's the point. Mine got so dirty that I'm like, I don't want to clean this thing. So it was a Sunday, and I'm like, I want a media filter, but the setup that's there just like is not very conducive, and I'm gonna redo all my ductwork anyways. I ripped down the return drop and all my return duct on a Saturday afternoon because I'm like, I don't just because of that freaking air cleaner. I didn't want to clean.
It starts from one. Nice. Were you like high or something?
No, I was just like, I had an itch, and I'm like, I hate this freaking thing. It's like the bane of my existence. I hate it so much.
Isn't there other one? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, John, I know like there's a lot of people out there that sell indoor air quality products, right? But like they're not really diving into the cause or the source of the issue. They're like prescribing. What do you say all the time? Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice.
Exactly.
So like you go to somebody's hospital, like, well, you need a Remy, or you need an air cleaner, you need this or that. It's like, what kind of testing have you done? Like, what do you have to say to, you know, the people that just go out and they, well, we have a special on this. You need this.
They're just pushing boxes,
right?
So
I got a report, and it was very interesting. And it doesn't matter where I got the report, but I got this report, and it was a company's like their monthly sales, and this was a year and a half ago. And what they were saying for that month, they sold $90-something thousand in air quality products, and it was the photocatalytic oxidation, the one that you just mentioned. And so then they broke it down. So they sold them for $1,500. They bought them for $5. They gave the technician a $200 spiff for selling them. And so then they broke it all down, and then at the end of the month, by the time all the numbers came back, they made like $70,000. They sold a buttload of them, but they're just selling them like hotcakes, and just for no reason except to sell them. So how do you go to a contractor like that and say, hey, don't do that anymore? Because that's the and there's companies whose whole business model is just sell new equipment. And the technicians aren't even really technicians, just sell equipment. So that the air quality products kind of falls in that same category. So how do you go to that contractor and say, hey, don't do this anymore? You need to do the right thing. So my suggestion is it depends if you've got a client that needs your services. So again, my clients came to me with cystic fibrosis, COPD, immune deficiencies, oncologies, immunologies, lung transplants, debilitating asthma. Those are my clients. I wouldn't dare throw one of those devices in their system and call it a day. So you have to, your moral compass has to point north, first of all, right? First and foremost. And so if you're only driven by money and that's the only thing, well, then there's other issues we need to talk about. So it's hard to have that conversation. Hey, don't do this anymore, you know. But the money, but with all the recent events and lawsuits and peer studies that are coming out, and just one after another, all the data, all the science is pointing towards these things really aren't cracked up to what they're touted to be. That's all the data. And you know, that poor lady, I can't forget her name. She's a scientist, and she did a paper, and it was just pure science, and she did it on her own with her little group, and now she's being sued for $4 billion for libel for doing a science paper.
Yeah, but there was a little bit more to that. I'm not defending the company that's suing her, because I clearly don't like the ionizer, whatever thing. But there was something a little interesting about that, because she was associated with another air cleaner company, wasn't she?
No, this was a peer study. But see, the problem was that she called them out. She called them out.
She was associated with another company, though. I thought I did the research on that one.
Yeah,
I could be
haven't
wrong,
heard
but
that.
I know I did some. You just do a quick little research, and you're going to find out. I think that there was some sort of association.
If she is or if she isn't, if you read like the emails back and forth between the lawyers,
Those were ridiculous.
It is insane what that company is doing and saying and how they were treating her and everything.
In the smear campaign is ridiculous too. Like in general.
But at the end of the day, science is science and math is math, right? Physics is physics. So at the end of the day, her paper is legit. I mean, it's all there. It's just pure science. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's just where I'm at. You know, you got to understand who my clients are and how I've helped people. And so again, I've mentioned this before, and it's not to make this about money, but you can sell a gadget like that and you can make $500 and you could do that all day long. And at the end of the month, they cleared like $70,000 or so. But when I had my business in California, my average IAQ ticket residential was about $70,000 per job. And then I'd be stacking them up.
Well, you're not selling UV lights though, John. You're looking at
I'm doing the whole fix.
You're actually fixing the problem.
We are actually fixing the problem.
One of the things I mentioned earlier about my brother-in-law, when on his service ticket, their diagnosis from the big box sales company was that he had biological growth in his supply intake, right? And their solution was to sell an air scrubber, and that was it. And I told my brother, I'm like, dude, here's the thing that irks me, right? Is whether or not I believe in the air scrubber or not, they're not doing anything to fix the problem. They're just throwing crap at it, saying that that's going to solve the problem. And it's like, but why do you have this biological growth? And, do you have humidity problems? So there's ethical ways, like you're saying, John, to make a lot of money doing this stuff if you actually solve the problem.
And really solving the problem. So part of the problem is the marketing, and these things overpromise and underdeliver, and contractors don't understand. I think, didn't I send you that picture, Adam, the other day? It was a ductboard plenum, and the whole inside was just inundated with mold. And so the contractor before stuck one of those PCOs inside of it and said, yeah, this is going to clear everything up. And then one of my guys went behind and saw it, and he wrote a contract for $32,000. Yeah, he wrote a contract for $32,000 to fix their problem, and so it's going to include taking all the ductwork out. It's going to include a lot doing dehumidification. I mean, they're going the whole 9 yards. There it is.
Friggin' ductboard. You guys are.
Isn't that the thing that? What the hell is that thing?
So the whole bottom is full of mold. I mean, there was no two ways about it. The contractor said, I'm going to stick one of these in here, and it's going to clear everything up. And there's nothing further from the truth.
Oh, I thought that was Doctor Who's spaceship.
And he walked away with $1,000, and then your contractor came in after and actually looking to correct the issue.
Making $70,000 off that $1,000 and ripping people off and not solving the problem. That's
Bill Laska had the same thing. He said, "Is that a TARDIS?"
Oh yeah, that's the name. The TARDIS.
That's the name of the Doctor Who spacecraft or whatever.
Pretty sure it is. It's the TARDIS that.
Yeah, it is the TARDIS.
And so, but this is where our industry's at. We got a bunch of guys out there sticking these things in everywhere and then promising the client the world, and that's dangerous. And so my contractor went in there, identified some problems, and is going to do a complete fix, which is going to be all new ductwork. He does cool duct. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It goes together like ductboard, but it's made out of a polymer, and it's great for airflow. It stays clean. There's no fiberglass. It doesn't break down. It's got
is it already insulated?
Yeah, well, it's dense and it's rated at R8. Just by itself.
Yeah, I mean, we just use foam board from like Home Depot.
You're giving Chris ideas for his house.
Yeah, to get me started because I'm currently changing the air conditioner in my house.
No, don't give Chris more ideas.
I'm a sheet metal guy from way back. There's not anything that I can't make out of sheet metal. I mean, I've been banging tin forever, so I'm a sheet metal guy. And I would just insulate it on the outside, not the inside.
Yeah,
but,
and that's exactly it, because my limited experience with ductwork is 10 years later, people complaining about fiberglass coming out the registers, and because of pre-insulated or inner insulation or whatever.
So I know during your class that I took your indoor air quality. What's the name of your class again, John?
IAQ principles.
IAQ principles. So in the IAQ principles class, one of the discussions we had was
can make a light bulb out of sheet metal. That's
maybe it was a hypothetical situation, but a situation where a customer needs outdoor air, but they live in an area where there's bad pollutants. And we were talking about that with Chris. Chris lives in an area where they frequent forest fires or something.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of wildfires.
It's just always on fire. It's just different
season.
areas.
My biggest problem right now is skunks, though. My freaking
How is that your biggest problem? That's nobody's biggest problem right now.
The dumbest person in the world, and he thinks that little baby skunks are cute, so he feeds them cat food. So therefore, they run around the neighborhood and spray everywhere, and I'm so sick of that. But yeah, we do have it, and I need to bring fresh air in my house with the fires. And I had this like intricate idea when I'm designing the system in my head that I want to have some sort of outdoor intake that has an air monitor that can sense the smoke and shut it down and do all this stuff. But man, these ideas get complex in your head. Like, what do you do?
So what I want you to do, so remember, I was a contractor in California, and I did plenty of stuff out in the Inland Empire. I did a lot of school work in San Bernardino and Indio and 29 Palms. And so I'm very familiar with the area. So email me and or I'll get it from Adam, and I'll send you some design stuff. And we can, and the cool thing about California, we can get away with outside air, different apparatus that we could never get away with anywhere else in the country.
Because it's dry. So
it's dry. So I'll send you some ideas. I've got stuff that it's already made. You can look at it. You can have it made. I got, Brandon is, I've sent it to him. He's making those and using them in Texas now. So we can totally get you some outside air. We can put it through 5 pounds of carbon and a HEPA filter, and you'll be good as gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll message you. So I have to say too, change the subject for a second. Earlier, I took a call, and it was the call that all the dads know they're going to get eventually. It was my 16-year-old daughter, and she called me and she goes, "Dad," she goes, "I'm at the mall." She goes, "I have a question." She goes, "Am I paying for my dress for the dance, or are you paying for it?" And I go, "Well, what do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, if I pay for my dinner, I don't have enough money for the dance." And I'm sitting here thinking, what, or for the dress? And I go, "Well, can I pay for your dinner and then you pay for the dress?" And she's like, "Well, but don't you pay for my dinner too?"
Well, I mean, doesn't she not have a job? She's a California chick.
She's 16, dude. I don't let her have a job.
I know. So it's like you pay for the dinner and the dress. It's just that you call the money different things when it transfers hands.
Exactly. So now she's texting me with the amount, and I have to transfer the money into her account. So
sweet.
Nice.
Well, that's cheaper than a shotgun wedding.
It is cheaper than a shotgun wedding. So, but kids, man, kids.
Awesome.
Hey, Phil, did you decide what you're going to do with your giveaway? Don't forget.
Yeah, we should probably start talking.
Yeah, you got to do your giveaway, man.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I see all you guys chatting in the chat about this thing, cheater chatter. But literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll backwards up through the chat, and I'm just going to pick somebody randomly at the screen so I don't have any input on it whatsoever. I'm going to scroll, point my finger, stop, scroll again. I'm going to do that twice because I have 2 gift cards to give away.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll tell you if I don't want you to give it to that person. I'll just tell you, no, not him.
Yeah, and then Chris can have all the bad karma in the world. Which, by the way, I forgot to say hi to our #1 fan out there, Randy and his little buddy Luke. I'm sure they're watching with no pants on, balls out, sitting in front of their fan, just like they always do, eating their weird sour cream noodles. Stay
Cheetos.
cool, Randy.
Yeah.
Cheetos.
So
all
we're gonna
right,
pick
all
them.
right. Let's scroll. Let me bring up the chat here.
Y'all should make it hard for Bill, so start chatting a lot. So
you can chat all you want. I'm literally just
someone.
if you can see the reflection of my glasses, I'm just fully on doing this. All right there. Jesus Tilapia, Jesus Fish. You get 1 gift card.
That's
Shoot me an email.
Joe was the man with the
Jesus
code.
Fish.
RJ.
Jesus.
CuriousHVAC@gmail.com. Shoot me an email.
Nice. He's in here.
Right.
We see him every single week.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's in here.
Yeah, sometimes he's here too often.
He hates me, but he's good.
That guy again. All right, let's see.
Can I share something with you guys, or do you have another card to give away?
He's going to give one more away.
I'm scrolling through right now, just trying not to look. And we got boom. Who's this? LED Handyman Services, California. California, that guy.
Wow.
If you're watching, shoot me an email. CuriousHVAC@gmail.com. If I don't hear from you guys by next Friday, I'm going to give them away to somebody else. So make sure you email me. If not, it's your fault, and I have no ill feelings towards that.
There you go. You know, it's cool too, because like right before this stream, I think Rick, I couldn't tune in, but he was giving away his gift card too. So
cool.
That's cool.
Nice.
So for context, John, I do a giveaway at the end of the year. And this year I picked a bunch of creators and gave the creators the gift cards to give away to their followers and then helped promote their content. So Bill's giving away his two, and you know,
basically he's responsibly avoiding responsibility.
Exactly. Instead of me picking 20 people, I just gave it to 9 creators and
delegate.
said, you guys
Yep. Good job.
See.
But I wanted to share something with you that I got, and it's pretty darn cool. And so as you're doing a maintenance and or a service call, or if you're a CSR or a comfort consultant and you're doing a call, I've got this brochure here. And if you guys can see that, it says control the air you breathe. And so as you're doing doing your call, you hand this to the client. And then they'll open it up and
can be harmful to our health.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It's a little video.
Studies have shown
it's a little video.
Air can be up to 5
and it's very informative. And here's the cool thing. You can go online and download several different videos that go right into the same brochure. Now you gather it up when you're done, and it's very informative, and they're about ready to give you the capability to film your own thing. Like if I wanted to do like a little infomercial, and it'll be on the screen, and they pop it open and it starts playing. And right now it's a little animated one, but I think they've got 5 or 6 different animated ones that you can load onto this, take one off and load it back on. But I thought that was the coolest marketing idea ever.
A contractor came up with that?
No. This came from a company called KGG Consulting, and they're really big into indoor air quality. And so I just did an event in Houston at Top Golf. We called it Selling IAQ Solutions Beyond the Blue Lights, and it's all about doing the right thing. And so we're gonna do we're taking that event on the road. We're gonna do LA, Orlando, and then Greg, the owner of Dust Free, he wants to do like 10 cities. So we're taking this on the road, and it's Selling IAQ Beyond the Blue Lights. And it's like, and we had a great turnout.
Awesome.
I saw you. We've talked a lot about sales and the sales guys and that in the past. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but John ran into Gene Slade in real life.
Ooh.
And you guys, you've had some heated discussions with him about indoor air quality.
You've been trying to get him on the show too. He won't come.
Who's this?
Gene Slade.
Gene Slade.
Oh, yeah.
Lead ninja.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we all know his story. You know, somewhere in there, I think he's got a good heart.
I'm sure a lot. I'm sure a lot of the people out there that, you know, to be fair, a lot of the salespeople out there, you know, when we say sell, it's hard because you're lumping everybody together. But the shady salespeople.
When you do more selling than fixing, you're a sales.
Yeah. Good one.
So I ran into him at Service World Expo.
Yeah, unfortunately, this industry, you know, especially on the residential side, they kind of create the problem because, you know, we all buy into a lot of people's sales schemes
with a lot of buzzwords,
learn about deceptive stuff. And
I think if you're learning your indoor air quality tactics from a marketing company or from the manufacturer who they're telling you their own private data, there's probably an issue with that.
Yeah, like I'm not going to go to Grant Cardone and figure out how to fix furnaces. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or Gene Slade, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
I mean, he seems to be a nice guy. Although I saw you guys going back and forth a little bit in comments on Facebook one time, and I just said, "Hey, Gene, why don't you go to one of John's class so he could teach you about indoor air quality?"
I think it'd be kind of fun to have on the show because I bet he can take a punch.
So Hausch, you always have some interesting comments, and I kind of do agree with you on that one. Of course, I don't advocate for people
absolutely
ripping people off and being deceptive, but at the same time, I mean, if you're dumb enough to buy some of this stuff,
I mean, that's also saying, like, is it okay for the phone scammers to scam your grandma out of her life savings?
It's
I mean,
not
she's
okay,
gullible.
but it's also,
I mean,
at what point does a child or what point is it your responsibility to step in with your grandparents and say, you know what, we're going to take control of your bank accounts. We're going to make sure that you don't spend money that you shouldn't
so I don't
spend.
care.
So
yeah. Michael Hausch brings up a great point. Don't blame the marketers. Marketing is tricky. We are bombarded with marketing from the time we get up to the time we go to bed. Our brains can only handle so many bits of information, and you get to a point where you just glaze over. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, I mean, marketing is tricky just to navigate that in and of itself, let alone the science. And so, we're told certain things. And like I said, once we get saturation, we kind of glaze over. And by the time we get to this stuff, it's like, okay, well, it says it can do this, that, and the other thing. It's got to be true because it's written in bright letters on a box. And so, yeah, to his point, absolutely, don't blame the marketers because that's their job to get you to buy, the sexy toothpaste.
Yeah.
Sexy toothpaste. They sell that?
Yeah.
Where do you buy that at?
What does it do for you, Bill?
What does it do for you?
It's at the special
So you make your teeth softer? You know what I'm saying?
Ty Banana Man was saying a man yesterday was telling people not to waste time learning technical, just learn how to sell.
Oh, 100%. I can tell you some sales gurus out there that say that exact thing all the time. If you watch any of their proprietary stuff you have to pay for, and then you watch it and you're like,
we talked about that. Hey, what was it, a couple weeks ago, that service call that I was on where one of the real big Chicago companies was out. They walked in at the same time. They do plumbing and heating, and he started, it turned out his water heater was too hot, was the service call. And within 3 minutes of the guy's house, he had him, you need a new water heater, but it has to be power vent because natural draft is against code, which obviously it's not. You need a new sump pump because yours is cheap and it's from Home Depot, and you don't have a battery backup. So he was at a $9,000 bill within 3 minutes of walking into his house. He left the house. He left the house. Oh, mind you, that same company looked at the comfort issues of the bedroom that his baby sleeps in, which I was there to look at. I gave the guy a full boat of options. Turns out I was back there today, charged him $2,000, fixed the bedroom and the water heater for him in a couple of hours, and so that company got nothing out of the deal.
Prime example right there. Beautiful.
Hey, what was wrong with that?
What's that? The bedroom?
Yeah.
So there's actually quite a few things wrong with the bedroom. It's a finished room over a garage, which that sucks. There's 6 outside spaces that are unconditioned, right? They have a shitty duct design. Both of the runs were the 2 longest affected, or the critical path. Basically, there's one critical path, but if you looked at the total equivalent length of each run for the 2 supplies for that bedroom, they were both the worst in the entire house. So what I did was we basically just reducted them, and we took out 890s out of each of them. And I was able to double the airflow to the room by shortening it.
Every 90's worth
30 feet.
25 feet of equivalent length.
Wow.
Especially in flex.
Oh, it's flex.
There was flex just under the garage. From what I could see, the rest of it goes up in the wall and oval, but it was coming out 90, 90, 90, 90, 90.
Oh my God.
For each one of the runs. And mind you, also, they were the first run on the trunk on both sides of the plenum.
Oh,
so they had the longest equivalent length on both sides of the trunk. Right. So,
good job, buddy.
Fine.
Good job.
Well, I think it's time we wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to finish off with, John, before we go?
Ended
where
up
they
the
could
year
reach you.
strong, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to get this year started. I'm teaching. I taught a lot of IAQ principles workshops last quarter, and been well received. And you know what? One other thing I didn't tell you guys about in the new flat rate, love us or hate us, I don't care. Rodney, the founder, and myself created the very first and only in our industry a building science and indoor air quality menu pricing system. And it is fantastic. And it starts with discovery. And we're helping guys get paid for the testing instead of giving it away.
Charging for the tests? So
I gave it away forever. Now we have a pathway and a way to have that conversation with the customer and get paid for the testing. And we've got on the building science, we do the complete building safety, which encompasses all the stuff that we do already: infiltration, exfiltration, pressure mapping, moisture mapping, zonal pressure, all of it, interstitial communication, pressure boundary identification, all of it. And now we can get paid for it. And handsomely, I might say.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So check out John Ellis. I took his class personally, and I actually sat through your class at the symposium last year. I recommend anyone who's thinking about it, if you have the opportunity, make it happen. It's awesome.
Awesome. Highlight Hughesman as well. He's going to be doing his giveaway this week. If you want, check out his channel, guys. I think I posted a lot of channels, links in the chat, guys. Clive, Ty, everything, HVAC videos, of course. And yeah.
Don't forget, go subscribe to bigclive.com. Let's get that guy over 1 million.
Yes.
Yep. So if you want to get a hold of me, let me give out an email address.
Sure.
dynamicairconsulting@aol.com. Here's the clinch. 505-652-8119. That's my phone number. Call me. I'll take anybody's call. I'll help you through problems. I love helping people be successful and figure out IAQ stuff.
You just unlocked Pandora's box, bro. Like, you don't realize the people that watch this show. Like,
I hope you like nudes on your phone.
Yeah. You know what happened the last time? Like, I got an email and it was a very unpleasant email.
It's from dudes.
That's okay. I'll take them.
Oh,
yeah, I you will.
Right there. Ding.
Ding. Hey, thanks, guys, for having me on.
Right. Thank you, John. It was awesome.
I'm going to hit the loud button right now, right?
You going to hit the what?
Loud.
Oh,
loud button. There you go.
That wasn't too bad.
It wasn't loud, buddy.
Oh.
Our old exit music.
Did you guys hear? We briefly talked about it at the beginning, but did you guys hear that Fujitsu is trying to sell their $100 billion stake in the HVAC industry? They want completely out. Thought that was pretty interesting.
Wow.
Good. It's because everyone's still sitting on hold right now.
Yeah,
send all your dudes, all your nudes, dudes. Dude nudes. John Ellis once told me cowboy butts drive him nuts. So send them all.
She's driving me nuts.
Wow.
Yep, that works too, Mike B. Send him all the porn. He doesn't mind. Send him some new stuff. He probably hasn't seen some of the new stuff you kids are into, like blue waffles and like docking. I'm sure he doesn't know what that is yet, so send him some pictures of that.
Bill.
Call a buddy. Take some pictures with your buddy and show him what docking is.
That's being a guest on Overtime gets you, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Show some love.
You opened the floodgates for Bill. Bill's going crazy right now.
I can tell. His mind is just spinning.
It's all just like thinking about wieners right now.
That's Bill. That's Bill.
I don't know why.
We'll see you guys next week. And John, I will see you this week coming up, eh?
Uh-oh.
What?